Welcome to Haunted Horizons GhostCast, where your hosts, Alison Oborn and Cag Allwood, will share their experiences in some of the most terrifying and haunted locations in Australia and overseas. So turn the lights off, relax, and enjoy. I've got to come into you there, Cag, and you've got to come into me.
I don't want to get any closer.
And you've got to get your microphone closer
I don't want
to
to
your
get
fucking gob.
Seriously?
You've got to be swallowing it.
Oh, nearly tip then.
Get it near your gob, woman. Get near your gob.
Get on outside.
We're getting ready, aren't we? We're practicing.
We are.
We're practicing our Yorkshire. Get it near your gob, and then they'll hear you better. Because we're heading to England in 2 weeks.
Yay!
So we're practicing. We're practicing the lingo.
By gone.
Yeah. And it's actually very, very... What's the word?
I don't know. Use your words. Use your words. What words are you looking for?
It's been
Just some help.
It's been a long 2 days.
2 days? Is that all?
It's... I can't remember anymore. It's what comes when you get to our age.
No, it comes when it gets to our age and you've just had an absolute nightmare.
Of a couple of days, yeah.
Of a couple of days.
It makes us very, it makes us very...
Forgetful.
Anyway, it's also very relevant for where we're going to go today. Because, Kate, we've done this place before.
We have. In fact, we've done it more than once. In fact, we've done it more than twice. Well, you've done it more than twice.
I've done it. How many times have you done it?
I've done it twice.
I've done it 3 times then.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about my third time.
That seemed really hard. You've only been there one time longer than me, but it did take you a long time to work that bit out. Anyway.
I didn't have enough fingers.
No.
Well, actually, I did. I had too many. It means I'm a deformed person. If I didn't have enough fingers, then that could be a problem.
Oh, guys, sorry. It's been a stressful time. Oh, good.
It has. It's been wonderful. Anyhow, let's get on. But before we do, let's just remind people that there is a 5-star thing somewhere. I'm not sure where, but somewhere. And it would be absolutely lovely if they pressed it.
It spreads the love when you press it.
It spreads love. So just remember, guys, we have social media all over. We have the podcast. So whatever you're listening to it on, just review it. Give it a good heads up because that's always liked. And share. Share. We love sharing.
We do.
So appreciate us as much as we appreciate you for listening. Don't forget we have a YouTube channel and Facebook as well, where you can watch the longer versions of these videos that we're talking about. All right, let's get into it, Cag. So we're going back to Pontefract, or I am.
Well, you are. You're leaving me behind.
I'm going back to Pontefract. I'm leaving you behind.
All right. You went away without me.
I actually got to go away without you. I'm just going to set the scene as to why I went to Pontefract, because it was very unplanned. And I only had a week to organise my trip to England because I was informed that my mum might have been end of life. She'd stopped eating, and of course I shot all the way over there on a mercy mission.
Well, she was that bad. They actually got everything ready for the end of life.
They did.
They did. She was that ill.
And I got there, she was sitting there eating jam and toast.
And having a cup of tea.
Didn't recognise me. Actually, she did. She did recognise me, bless her. So that's why I went over. So now, going over there is great, but I am a paranormal junkie. I can't go too long without doing an investigation somewhere. And I thought, you know what, just for a break, because I'm there for 2 weeks, just for a break, I'll book in somewhere. And I didn't want to book in anywhere where Cag hadn't been, because I didn't want her to miss out on any of the awesome locations over there. So I thought, you know what, we've done 30 East Drive. Cag doesn't want to go back there. A lone vigil for the night would be a really interesting thing to do. And I felt comfortable doing that because, as you know from our other podcast, we weren't overly convinced on anything that goes on in 30 East Drive. I mean, we had a few little things, didn't we, when we went with Amy and Jared?
We did. I mean, there's only one time I felt uncomfortable in there, and that's when we were with Amy and Jared, and you were all outside, starting our live broadcast, and I was upstairs by myself, and the equipment was going off, and it was a little bit edgy then, but not for long. But apart from that, that is the only time I've ever felt uncomfortable there.
So I really didn't. Everybody's going, "Oh, you're brave. You're the bravest person out, all on your own." And I'm like, going, "Yeah, whatever, meh." So now, before we do that, we didn't cover any real history. We've covered the story behind it before. There is a movie out, When the Lights Go Out, that you can go and look at. There's trailers and it's around the place, so you can go and read that, because it was, or it is still known as the Poltergeist house. I couldn't even get the word out there, Keg.
Poltergeist house.
My lips and my tongue just got so tired halfway through the word.
Wow, we're at that age.
And it just went, you know what? I don't want to finish that word.
No.
I think I feel tired. I need a breast. I need a breast now. It's going well. Let's keep going.
We can do this.
We can. So the Pritchards moved in the 60s, and they almost immediately had strange things happening, didn't they?
Yeah, they had water they couldn't clean up. They had, was it dust that was coming down?
It was like a white, fine dust. I think that was one of the first things they had happen. Yeah,
strange thing.
Green goo coming out of the taps, which when I saw Jared when we were there wanting to drink out the taps, I did think, you know, that could be a bit risky. So we brought in bottles of water instead.
We did,
and we were with Amy's crypt. They had keys dropping from the chimney. And there were keys from the house, but there was one key in amongst it that wasn't from the house. So that's a little bit strange. They called the ghost Fred because they had to humanize it. We do the same, don't we, on our tours?
If you like to be called Fred, though, that's always...
Especially if your name wasn't Fred.
I wonder how many ghosts are out there called Fred because we don't know what his name is.
I do remember the first time we went and you said, do you like being called Fred? All hell broke loose on the lights.
It
on
did.
The EDI. Yeah. So they think it's Fred, and they believe Fred is a monk. And a monk that's in a black robe. Now, in our last episode, we did say we couldn't understand why there would be a monk in Pontefract in a council house.
Well, yeah, a 3-bedroom semi-detached council house. Why did it just pick one half of a semi-detached council house? Why not pick several houses or
a whole street?
Whole street. Yeah, why just one half of a semi-detached house?
And I used to say, but there wasn't even a priory around there. But we have actually done history research now, Kag.
We have.
And you did find, I found 2 priories in the area, and I have seen them dotted on the map. But it really only pointed to one priory.
Yeah, but only one, which is what, about a mile or so away from the property?
Yeah, less than a mile.
Yeah.
Which would have been interesting because that puts the house in the vicinity of Cluniac monks, which is what the monks were.
But then it would have put the whole of the estate in the vicinity.
In the vicinity of the...
Yeah.
I don't know whether it would be the grounds. So I thought we'd kind of give a little bit more history on Pontefract, the castle, and the priory, because we didn't do this, did we?
No.
On the original episode. So if you want to go and look up the Pritchards, the original story is everywhere. You can listen to our last podcast, and that'll tell you a little bit about when they moved in. But I just want to cover a little bit about Pontefract, and it is such an interesting historical place.
Yeah, you don't think about it when you're there,
no,
do you?
Pontefract, you just go,
it's Pontefract.
Pontefract. But it's actually really interesting.
When I think of Pontefract, I think of Pontefract cakes, which are those little licorice lollies or sweets.
Yes.
Which are very nice. So that's what I think of. But then again, that's me.
Yeah. And until you go and look into the history, when I was there the next day after the investigation, I kind of hung out in Pontefract. And I have to say, fascinating. Honestly, if you can visit Pontefract and go and look at, if you're into history, there is some awesome history in that place.
If you're into saving lives or not wanting to save lives, don't go to Pontefract. If you want to know what I'm talking about, listen to our other previous podcast.
Yeah. I didn't have to save a life this time.
No, it's probably because I wasn't with you.
Nah, it could be. We're a duo.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if it's just one.
No.
Especially if they're dribbling mucus everywhere.
Yeah.
They knew I would have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
So Pontefract started, well, actually it goes back to the Neolithic times, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
And then it has a Roman background. And then along came the Vikings, because York isn't far away. And of course, York was a very big Viking city and settlement. And Anglo-Scandinavians were who lived in Pontefract. So there was two settlements. So it showed that the Anglo-Saxons by that point and the Scandinavians were getting on and working together. But then in 1066, the Normans had to put their nose into it all.
Well, we got invaded.
We finally got the Vikings settled with the Anglo-Saxons, and then overcame the Normans. So in 1066, William the Conqueror came over, and he also had a lot of trouble in York with the Vikings. So he'd gone up there and sacked York completely, which is like burnt it just about to the ground. And on the way back, he went through Pontefract, which wasn't called Pontefract back then. And the Anglo-Scandinavians knew he was coming, so they'd broken a bridge that goes across the river there. And that's where the name comes from. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's Pontefract is actually Latin for broken bridge. It was originally Pontefracto.
Pontefracto.
How cool is that? Pontefracto.
Yeah. So that's the meaning behind Pontefract. And as time went on, the Normans built a castle there, Pontefract Castle, and that has an amazing history. You can see there's not a lot left of the castle now, which is a shame. There wasn't a lot to see, really. Now, the castle was built in 1070. So only, I'm just getting my fingers out, guys, 4 years after the 1066 invasion. Is that right? Is it?
I can't believe you had to use your fingers for that. It was only 4.
Yeah. Well, I always get it wrong. You look at me in that distasteful, disapproval way.
It's okay. It's all good.
So I just made sure on my fingers I got it right there. It had a very important role to play in England. And there's some great stories from there. For instance, Thomas of Lancaster, who is a cousin of Edward II in 1322, he had got himself into very big trouble with the king. And he was spared from being hung, drawn and quartered because he had been given the death sentence. But he was also executed just outside the walls of his own castle. He was made into a saint.
Well, can I just say, I don't see how being beheaded outside the walls of his own castle was actually better than being hung, drawn and quartered.
Well, actually, because
the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I suppose having your head chopped off is better than having your insides all cut and dragged out.
I mean, they don't actually hang you till you're dead, though, do they? Do they?
I thought they hanged you first till you were nearly dead.
And then did that.
Yeah. And then burnt your insides in front of
you. I mean, because the thing with being beheaded, your brain is aware that your head's going into the basket as well, isn't it? For a few seconds after.
For all those who are squeamish.
Yeah. Sorry.
Keg likes her details.
I do. I like that.
He became a saint, and this is because, Keg, miracles started to happen.
You've got to love the odd miracle.
And do you know what miracles were performed? So the miracles started to happen right on the spot that he had his head chopped off. So one of the miracles was a blind man was suddenly able to see, Keg.
That's cool.
And I love this one. A child who had been dead for 3 days suddenly became alive again.
Wow. That is really cool. Maybe somebody hadn't checked on it.
Properly.
Sorry, so just milk properly.
And check. Mind you, they used to bury people alive, didn't they? Because sometimes you can go into that state whereby you're still alive, but you're unconscious and you're hardly breathing.
It's a bit like being in a coma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a good job, actually. They took the child to this spot and the child revived because can you imagine if the child had been buried? So I guess that's a miracle in itself. The other one I like, Catherine Howard. You would remember her, one of the wives of King Henry VIII.
Yeah.
This is where she had her love affair. And they were very much in love. It was a very, very passionate affair with Thomas Culpeper.
Not a good idea, is it?
Not really. Not when King Henry was in the castle.
But there was his best friend.
Yes, he was the best friend. And how they got caught is she was very silly and wrote a letter to Thomas Culpeper and it got intercepted. So we all know what happened to Catherine Howard after that. Here's another one to do with royalty. Richard II died in Pontefract Castle in 1399 at the age of 33 years old. Now, he had been imprisoned in London, had been brought up to be kept in Pontefract Castle, and they actually starved him to death. And that's how King Richard II died. Or when we've had enough of our kings, we just...
Yeah.
Now, you found an interesting saying, didn't you?
Yeah, so the town saying was, it's in Latin and I can't pronounce Latin, so I'll do the English version.
You're going to convert it.
Yeah, so it's after the death of the father, support the son, which is regards to the town's royalist sympathisers at the time in the Royal Civil War. So that was pretty cool.
So already within 1 mile of 30 East Drive, you have all this infighting and battles and going right back to Romans and even probably Neolithic times on that land. So it's starting to become a little more interesting, I guess, that there is something there.
Yeah.
Now, the priory in the area was built in 1090. So 20 years after the castle. I'll get there. And was dissolved in 1539 by royal authority. I wonder whose royal authority that would be.
Let me think. Who didn't like...
I think Catherine might have been beheaded under his royal authority as well. So, yeah, it was during that time where King Henry VIII was dissolving all the monasteries, and there was a lot of bloodshed during that time.
And it was Cluniac monks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And what colour did they wear?
Black.
So
it does tie in. We, before in our last podcast, said there was no monastery there. But in all effect, we hadn't done our research properly, had we, Kag?
No.
We kind of jumped in.
We did.
But it isn't actually an awful lot on the priory. We've had to really start looking. And now we can say, yes, there was a priory. In fact, everybody in Pontefract probably already knew that, mind you, but we didn't, and now we do. And again, I guess with the castle, the priory within a mile of that estate, it's starting to look a little more intriguing with the history. So I got to the house and set myself up and had a look around. I didn't feel at all perturbed, Kag. I really didn't. And if you ever go and watch the live stream that we did on Facebook, I say we because I'm used to Kag being there, you can see I'm more mocking, not mocking directly, but yeah, here I am.
Yeah, well, you have to
with a black monk.
Several things take into consideration. One, we don't find it a scary building, and two, you were not well.
I wasn't well. I actually, the next day, had to stop investigating in another place because I really wasn't well. I struggled through this one. Now, I started to have things happen when I did a quick live stream for our upper level Patreon. So I went on to our Appies first, which is our top tier Patreons, and the REM pod next to me started to trigger. And 2 balls on the staircase. So I was starting to get this equipment going off, which is interesting because we really didn't get much equipment after that. And then I started the proper live stream on our Haunted Horizons Facebook page. And I'm just going to, for those who've never been to East Drive, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a picture of what it looks like. It's very small, isn't it, Kate?
It is.
It's not a big house at all.
No.
You come in through the front door and already you're pretty much, well, you just come into the tiny little area with where the toilet is, and then you're in the kitchen. The kitchen has a little room extension on it, a little eating area. And then you go into the lounge. And the whole house is still decked out, probably early 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And the television in the corner is the old television from that time. And they made it really more interesting because they put a cutout. I don't know if everybody remembers the test card.
Oh, with
the girl in it?
Yeah.
So they've got a cardboard cutout of the test card over the screen there.
So that was when there was no TV shows, because the TV wasn't going on all night.
All night, no.
It used to stop at a certain time and then they just show this test card. So for those who don't know what test card is, that's what it is. It just used to show this picture.
For those of our age, you'll remember it well.
Yes.
So we did that, and it's all the furniture is from that era. The carpets are probably scarier than the ghosts in there.
I think the carpet and the wallpaper, I think the clashing of that is probably why it's haunted. It's probably haunted by somebody with a ghost with OCD that just wants to get it looking.
Wants to turn that carpet round the other way on the stairs, because Keg was the only one that noticed.
It was upside down.
The carpet was upside down on the staircase.
So annoying.
That was the first time she came. But I took these people around. You go up the staircase, tiny little landing. You got your bathroom. You got 3 bedrooms next to each other. And I'd taken people into one of the bedrooms, and I saw they had a whole load of toys in there. I hadn't brought much, because when you're flying and you're really not intending to do too many investigations, maybe one, I kind of knew I'd try and fit one in. I didn't take anything that you would class as trigger objects. And I thought, you know what? There's a doll on the bed. I'll just put her out as a trigger object. She'll make a good trigger object. So picked the doll up, stuck it on the top of the staircase. And it was like a little raggy doll, like soft material.
It was like a little rag doll.
With piercing, beady little black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a creepy little thing that it was. So I put it on the stairs, and because it wasn't a hard doll, it was a soft doll that doesn't just sit up on its own. I had to lean it kind of against the wall to make sure that it was stabilized. And then I continued to show people around, went into the 2 bedrooms, went into the bedroom where the portal is, Cag.
The portal?
The portal.
You mean the airing cupboard?
The portal.
Oh, sorry, the portal. Yeah.
I can't believe I had an argument. Well, it wasn't argument. I just looked at the video today to refresh, and I'm actually talking to Cag, who isn't there, but I thought she might be watching, and me going, it's a portal, Cag. And then you see the very, very little roll of my eyes, which gives away that both of us think that's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But there you go. So showed that, turned around to come out the bedroom, and the doll was on its side. And then you got the little bedrooms. It's the little toys. I might actually move one of these toys. Maybe I'll take the creepy doll here. Let's see if that upsets anybody. I'm going to take your doll. I'm going to put her on the top of the stairs here. All right. That is not how I left her, is it? That was not the way I left her. She was leaning against the wall. You saw her, I didn't go near her. She was leaning against the wall. Like that. Now, I'm rational. Maybe the doll did overbalance.
Could well be.
Could well be. I know I didn't leave her like that, but maybe she overbalanced.
It is a rag doll.
It is a rag doll. So I put her back up again. This time made sure she was definitely stabilised and nowhere near the staircase. So I had her back about a good 4 or 5 inches away from her feet on the edge of the stairs.
Yeah,
there.
she was a long way from the edge of the staircase.
And at an angle to the side. And I put one of the flashing cat ball toys right next to her. And then went downstairs and we started, and when I say we, it's the proverbial we. As I said, we always used to working together, aren't we, Kag? It's really weird.
Yeah, it is. It was actually weird for me to watch anything. I was probably working, so I didn't see much of anything.
Yeah.
But, it's really weird for me to watch Alison because we're always together.
I don't think we've ever investigated in the last few years.
Separately. And I'll tell a lie.
Apart from tours.
I think we did once when we were doing a live. It's because you broke your elbow.
Oh, yeah, but yeah.
But I did investigate with our colleagues on that night and Amy.
Amy had to stand in for me from Amy's crypt. Mm-hmm. It wasn't long. It wasn't long after I settled at the bottom of the stairs and started doing the questioning to see if I could get anything to respond. And nothing was really happening. I did get 3 very strange rhythmic thuds. And it's not the first time we've got these, because we do seem to get 3 knocks in other places. I think one of them was Crescent when we're down in the tunnels, and the Sally House when it copied me. But it didn't copy straight away.
No, it's quite a way.
It was a little period before you got the 3 thuds. In fact, I got that twice in the Sally House. I was ignoring thuds and thumps and knocks because, and I'm going to say it, the rumour is that the next door neighbour does knock on the walls occasionally just to freak investigators out. So I had to be very aware of that rumour. It may just be a rumour. We're certainly not accusing her of anything.
And also, if you do live in a semi-detached house, as they are there, you do get noises from next door. Even if they're doing it on purpose or not, you do get noises from next door.
So I was very aware of that, and I even say that in the video, that I have to ignore certain things because I know it's coming from next door. Mm-hmm. The 3 thuds, though, I've included in the video because they weren't coming. I was sitting up against the wall that would lead to the next door neighbour. It's a dividing wall. And the thumps that I heard, I did hear them. They came from a different area. I included them anyway because they seemed to be a little bit more unusual to what I was hearing from next door. That's just natural building sound, I think. There's a bit of a tap up there. That's me creaking as well, by the way, if you're wondering what that noise is. Now, this is where it got interesting, Cag. This is what's caused a bit of a stir with everybody but us.
It's actually caused a massive stir with everybody apart from us, because we just went cool, and now it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, it's everywhere. It wasn't until I asked about the doll that we got that moment. Now, what I was doing is I placed myself, because another little thing people keep coming up with, people are commenting about this next moment, and I was sitting down in the bottom of the stairs. Now, the only place to sit when you're old, Cag, and you can't get off the floor, it was like one of those old little, you know, you used to have your telephone and
the little TV, little telephone seats.
Yeah, little telephone seats. You had a little table and an attached seat to it. And that was the only place that I could sit. Also, to get a view down the hallway where I'd seen a figure on our first visit there, and up the stairs to the top of the landing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of positioned myself in that strange position.
Oh, and don't forget the telltale 2 cameras in one place.
The 2 cameras in one place. We'll get into some of these comments. We'll answer them soon. So I'm asking the questions. Nothing's happening. And then I say the line. That doll up there shouldn't be up there, should be in the bedroom. There's a slight momentary pause. before the doll suddenly somersaults and goes down about 3 or 4 steps, landing perfectly upright.
There's a doll at the top of the stairs there. She should be in the bedroom. Oh my God. Oh my God. She should be in the bedroom. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys. Oh. Thank you. Okay. I think my heart just stopped.
Very strange.
Very strange. Hey, I'm rational. I can't say that she didn't overbalance. I always say at the beginning of our videos, this is up to you guys to make of it what you want. Is it paranormal? Well, I can't prove that. She does a very weird thing. I watched it over and over when I got back. She almost launches upwards and then somersaults.
You see, the thing is about that, she is a rag doll. She is quite away from the edge of the stairs. If a rag doll fell over, she would have just gone flat on her legs.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have she wasn't close enough to the stairs. It's not like if she was on the edge of the stairs and she went forward, she would have fell down the stairs. But she wasn't. She was away.
She should have fallen about where her feet are.
Yeah, exactly. She would have gone head first onto her feet.
Not the most amazing little somersault. Now,
No.
I'm still rational me goes, it could have just for some reason done that, but it did look like it was thrown up and down. It was a very weird thing. So at the time, and when you watch the video, you'll hear I practically stopped breathing, Cag. It was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
You expect
I was
30
sick.
Drive, didn't you?
I was struggling. I was tired. I honestly didn't believe in 30 East Drive, that there was anything there. I thought, I'm just going to do this live stream and then I am going to get some sleep because I am exhausted and I feel like absolute rubbish.
It's very polite of you.
I know. I did think, actually, before I got to that word, whether I should use the other word, but I thought I'll be polite.
Cool.
That certainly woke me up.
It did.
And this is the way I behave. If I'm startled, if I'm scared or anything like that, I freeze. I just freeze and I stop breathing. It's just my mechanism. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's non-paranormal, whether I've had a close miss, I just freeze and stop breathing. And then I have to remember to breathe again. And that's kind of what you're hearing in that video. If you're wondering why I'm still sitting there, it's because I'm frozen to the spot and trying to rationalize what just happened.
And also what people have got to realise, you haven't investigated by yourself for a long time because you're either with a group of guests on doing a tour investigation or we're together.
Yeah.
So to be by yourself in a building, even though it's not a scary building, for something like that to happen is freaky. I don't care what anybody says.
But it's not only that. I can honestly say I wasn't scared. It was more that, did I just see that? Did I just catch that? And what the hell just happened? Kind of freeze and stop breathing, going, oh my God, That's kind of what was going through my head. I never felt scared. I never felt threatened in that house. That's a weird thing. I didn't ever feel scared in that house, despite.
But that sort
What's
of thing should not happen in that house, as far as we're concerned.
No. Now, this is where, Cag. So the other day, my views went up suddenly on that video. And I said to Cag, we have to have been mentioned somewhere because we've increased our subs and we've increased the views. So somebody's mentioned us. And then somebody came into the comments and said, hey, I just saw you on Beardo. And I thought, well, who's this Beardo? So I went to have a look and saw that he was one that calls out bullshit on people. And he'd taken that video and he was now reviewing our video.
Because people actually sent it to him.
Yeah, told him he'd better have a look at Haunted Horizons.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, the nice thing he actually knew
was
about
lovely,
this.
yeah.
Didn't he?
You know, I went in to have a look. I haven't watched his videos before, but he's a very likeable guy.
He is.
I warmed to him straight away. And it's not because he wasn't condemning the video, which he wasn't. He kept saying, I'm hoping it's real. I can't see where it's been faked. And he was very fair about it. And he just came across, even before I'd watched it all, as a lovely person.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've talked to him, and he's very, very nice. So definitely go and support Beardo. But this is where it got ridiculous, because here's us. We had a doll go down the stairs. I say us again. Don't read anything into me. Keep saying we and us, all right? It's only I'm used to being with Cag, not on my own. I'm going to keep stressing that before people go, oh, my God, you see, there was more than one.
If anybody wants to know if I was still in Australia, please ask our guests that I was covering all the tours whilst Alison was away.
And the only other two people I know in England that really, at that time I was there, are my two 70-year-old sisters. They are not going to want to come investigating with me, trust me. So, but everybody was making a big thing of it. Now, I just want to say, Cag, that what we're going to cover next, which is answering some of these theories we did. I just want to say we're not getting at these guys. It's everybody's opinion is important. There is a lot of fakery out there. It's why I like Beardo, to tell you the truth, because he calls it like it is. And I think it's more coming from amusement. So we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to have a bit of fun with the theories that came out and kind of tell you why we find that so amusing. So please don't take it personally. To anybody who commented, said we were faking, please don't take this personally. We did actually find it amusing, because if you knew Cag and me, you wouldn't be saying half the things that were said. But we do understand why. And hey, it made for a really good conversation. So it's all good. But take it with the intent it's going to be kind of delivered in, if you like. All right, let's get to it, Cag. Remember this, we didn't even put it in our thumbnails.
No.
If I was going to let's say, because obviously all the faking stuff came into it, and it was quite amusing looking at all these comments on how I managed to fake this doll.
I was very impressed with you, actually, to be truthful. Because
I felt quite flattered.
Well, I know. Well, I was very impressed because you have difficulty either getting off the floor or standing still and not falling over.
Never mind.
How you did all the wires, string.
Oh, they were very complicated. I had them threaded through the banister and wrapped around.
There was one guy that definitely saw the wire on the landing.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool, because Alison was downstairs. So how she could have moved this wire on the landing with her being downstairs by herself. But hey,
and how to get it to,
truth get
I think I'm pretty good with wire to get it to do the perfect silhouette, pirouette thing, not pirouette, somersault.
Yeah.
And then to land perfectly upright 3 steps down. I think I am a Genius,
You
Kay.
are an absolute genius.
They obviously haven't watched our videos, have they?
No, because we end up breaking more stuff.
It's the best we can
Standing
do.
on things and all sorts, don't we?
It's the best we can do, not breaking shit. And yeah, just trying to stay upright and trying to get ourselves back off the floor again is mainly our biggest problem.
So this lady that's coming in, her name's Cag. She's just bringing some...
Oh my hands! Are you okay?
Well, that buggered the,
I'm sorry. I would come and help you, but I can't move.
I think the REM pod isn't very happy.
I think we lost one. REM pod down.
you alright? Did you get that on camera?
I
The
did.
first thing that she always asks us, did you get that on
What
camera?
did you do?
Come down legs first.
Take two first.
Come out. Okay.
Why do we make this really... Alright, ready? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're right.
And another one, I think another one said, well, what she did is while she was live, she cut it in the live, which you can do apparently, and I did not. So nobody would have noticed.
No one would have noticed if you'd gone
Because I would
quiet
have
on
to.
live.
The thing is with the live, I can prove I didn't. They can't prove I did, but I can prove I didn't because I have a live stream where I was taking you all around, walked up the stairs, picked up the doll, stuck it on the staircase, and walked off again. In fact, I was sitting on the staircase. You can see the banisters. You can see there was no time for me to go, I think I'll put this wire here. There was no time. It's all on video stamp. There's no, as I was live, nobody missed me. I didn't cut out and jump to a certain little thing. It's all very fluent.
It's amazing what you can do though, Alice.
Oh, I am.
And the
clever.
main one, the main thing, which was your major downfall.
I didn't
right?
run and scream. So therefore it had to be fake, Cag.
I know. Yeah, she didn't run and scream. Well, after 34 years of doing this, if anybody thinks Alice is going to run off and scream, no. Oh, no, but the main one was the cameras.
Oh, yeah, there was another thing. Why would she have two cameras in one spot?
Downstairs.
Why didn't she have one upstairs? It's either preconceived and shonky or a sloppy investigation. Well, I wasn't investigating properly. This was just me hanging out at 30 East Drive to give our Patreons and our followers a little bit of a chat room while I'm sitting in a haunted location to make it more interesting. That's all it was about. It's filmed on a phone. It's filmed on an what are we up to? S21 Ultra, or is it S22?
Yeah. Whatever it is. It's a Galaxy.
22. I get one every year, so S22 Ultra. But because I was live, and unfortunately with lives, if your reception isn't good enough, it'll pixel and you'll lose quality. So we always have a backup video camera. That is why there is two screens and two cameras, because one is a camera working constantly. The other one is the live. That's the only reason. And I can't bring many cameras across when I'm actually visiting my sick mum. And I don't have a lot of weight in my luggage because it's winter and I've got full of heavy coats and stuff like that, which is unlike summer, isn't it? When we just have like 6 T-shirts and
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Like cases and cases of equipment and 6 T-shirts. That's about how we travel, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is as well, if we were YouTubers, real YouTubers, we would have had a camera at the, well, again, I'm doing we.
It's
Added group, we would have a camera at the top of the stairs. But
if we were filming.
If you were filming properly, doing a proper YouTube thing. We are not proper YouTubers. What Alison does is she actually gets the highlights and turns them into a YouTube episode. So this is not filmed specifically for YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we don't have all these cameras out and about and around the different places, because it's not filmed for that purpose.
No.
This is just for people that follow us to see where we are and what we're doing.
Given some interesting locations. We love hanging out in them as well, and sharing them with you. The other thing is, to fake, you have to have a motive.
Yeah.
I have no motive. I don't need money from YouTube. I don't need a successful, huge, million followers YouTube channel because it's not my living. My living is a multi-award winning, which the awards are behind me, Hall of Fame tourism business. I get plenty from that. That is how I go around the world. I don't need a successful YouTube channel. I don't need the subs. I don't need the clicks. I love to have them with the people who really want to be there, because I think the community we've got and the socialness we've got when we do the premieres.
Yeah.
I love doing premieres because we have a chat room and we're having a good fun. I mean, we've got Kagami bagging each other in the chat and it's just huge fun with these people. Yeah. And I don't want lots of people who'll come in and disrupt that. If you want to follow us, I love you to death. Definitely. If 2 middle-aged ladies, 2 besties who travel around the world, bumbling around, trying to prove that life doesn't stop at the age of 60 and you don't have to be young, virile and full of like bravado to go into these places, then we are the channel for you.
Exactly.
And you are going to have a sense of humour.
But if you want young jump scare, then don't follow us, because we're not young and jump scare.
Exactly. We're not.
We're not into screaming.
Just say, get out and,
Yeah, we're like,
okay. It's not nice, is it? That's us. We have no reason. In fact, it would do me more damage to fake than it would not faking.
Yeah. So,
we don't care. We put up, people know we don't get much on our
and
videos.
the thing is as well, if we wanted to make a lot of it, like you said,
oh my God, if I could do
we
that.
would have put it on the thumbnail, it would have been in the title.
He said or the string you had attached to the doll that you edited out. So when I was editing, apparently I edited the string out.
You edited out on a live?
Yeah. Well, no, when I edited the highlight, apparently. I don't know if he knew it was alive at that point. I edited it out to mask it. Have they seen my editing on these videos? It's like, watch the videos. If I knew that much on how to do that, you would be having a much more fluent, better put together video. I can't be bothered to learn. What you get is what you get. And my son, oh my God, I told my son last night about it and he just cracked up laughing. He said, do you want me as a witness? He said, to tell them that mum and technology just doesn't go together. He's forever having to come around and save everything. So I actually am amused by the amount of attention this is getting, because in our own video, we haven't given it that attention. We didn't put it in the thumbnail. I didn't put it in the title. We haven't put it anywhere apart from when we advertised it as a premiere, and we didn't even say what happened in it. We just put it up as a premiere thing. You would think if I was faking for attention, I would put that everywhere. Mm-hmm. Where's the motive? And at the end of the day, couldn't the doll just have fallen over? Why do people have to jump to it? It's fake. You did this. Couldn't you just say, All right, guys, watch your videos. No, you don't do things that's sensational. Could the doll have just fallen over? Yeah. Yeah, it could have been, I don't know, some way it fell. Who knows? Who knows? I'll put it here for the video. People can go and watch it. If not, go
Yeah,
watch
but
the
the
video.
thing is, though, if you just say that, it's not such a good story.
It's not, is it? But anyway, that's enough on that. Let's carry on with my investigation. So I went up and put her back upstairs, and I put her back upright. And I sat next to her with her beady, creepy little eyes.
She did have creepy little
I did
eyes,
actually
didn't she?
videotape down to her next to me, and there's like these little beady little eyes looking at me. She was a creepy little thing. I also debunked the REM pod that was going off because what I was showing was the phone getting too close. The signal does set a REM pod off, so I slid that off into the portal room, CAG.
Not the portal room. Did it go off?
It went into the... No, it didn't. Not once.
Maybe there was
The door was
nobody at the
already
door.
open, though. I think it had already got out and gone somewhere,
That's
unlike
the
last
shame,
time.
Yeah.
And while I was talking to the people who were watching the live, here's a weird thing. I had my white speaker. Most of you who watch our lives or our videos know Sven, my speaker. He suddenly spoke. So what you do is when you hold the button in, and it's only a little button, you've got to press it in and hold it for a few seconds until he speaks, and then he'll go whatever. Whoops. Then he'll go whatever. And it was sitting to the side of me, and suddenly he spoke. It turned on, which you have to press that button. And as I was discussing that, suddenly the cat ball next to me went off. Now, I wasn't moving. I was just with the phone telling you lot.
Can I try and debunk your...
You can debunk whatever you
I
like.
think you used a wire or a piece of string to get that to go. I don't know how you do that.
I think
because
I'm-
it's a
yeah.
certain button you have to do it, but I'm just saying.
Maybe a sharp point.
Maybe you actually stopped the live, turned it on,
Yeah.
and then put the live back on again. That's my debunk.
Maybe I had somebody there next to me and I masked them out.
Maybe I teleported across through the portal.
Oh my goodness. That's
oh
how it
my
all
God,
happened.
I did. That's how I
And
came
you
through
brought
the
your
portal.
stick.
I did.
You came through the portal. You came through the stick and you knocked the
So
door off.
I left my people in my investigations, did what I had to do to make it look good for you, and then I went back again and carried on with my work. It was all
And
good.
because time's different, they wouldn't have even noticed.
They wouldn't have noticed.
We've nailed it.
That's it.
We've nailed it. You don't have to guess anymore how we did it.
No,
We've just
we've
told you.
just used the portal.
That is what we did.
Far out.
So I did an EVP burst, getting back to serious investigating here, CAG. I did an EVP burst, and when asking for it to put the voice on the box, on the voice recorder, we almost seemed to get a whisper saying, "I'm here."
So you can put your voice on that little box. I'd be really grateful. Just helps me to know somebody's there.
After that, we got another maybe whisper, but I couldn't make this one out. So generally, I won't tag them. I'll tag them as a whisper, mate. That shouldn't be there, put it that way. I won't say what I think it's saying unless I'm pretty sure. I like to let you lot think. I even asked, do they miss the Pritchards? Because really, I don't think there's been many families living in there since then. And I had a very faint whisper, then a knock, and then another whisper that seemed to say, "Get off." Or it's either get off or get up.
Do you miss the family who used to be here? Do you remember the Pritchards that we've just talked about? Especially the daughter, Diane.
Of course, I didn't know I was getting these at that point, so I'm continuing with my questioning.
Well, you were actually blocking the stairs.
I was. Maybe he wanted to come up or down.
Yeah.
When I asked about the family again, it came out with what appeared to be either Diane or I am. And obviously when you're just getting a a whispery voice. It's hard to make out the exact syllables, but it sounds like. But it was followed what sounded like a child as well.
It's almost like a faint voice there. That little woo.
Could that be me from the portal?
Oh, that's what it was. It was you going back through it. Because you were squeezed into a... That was your sound.
It was.
It was the knock as you went into the portal, and then they... She got sucked back through to Adelaide.
Oh, if only we could take the portal back, because it's going to save such a long journey.
It is.
Flight.
We wouldn't have to pay all that money. We could just go to Pontefract.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if we had a group, the paranormal group working there, and we just appear through the portal?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Excuse us.
Excuse me. Don't worry about us. We haven't paid for tonight. We're just off to another place, but
Oh, good.
had to get out here.
Yeah.
Just mind the equipment. Yep. No, just move around.
Oh, sorry about the ball. I do apologise. It's all good. It's not broken.
Now, I did turn on the ghost box, and as I was setting that up, the REM pod triggered. I didn't have much equipment, but it did trigger a little bit in this room. The first word out of the ghost box was Norman. Now, at first I thought, hello, Norman. But then I thought afterwards, there's a few other little things that we'll go through that made me wonder whether it was talking about a time period rather than a name, because we just talked about when the castle and the priory and the Norman invasion and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple of responses later that seemed to confirm this, and I'll get into that soon. Now, I did ask if there was any children there. So we put the Vox on. Gag. And if you don't know what the Vox is, it's one of Amy's Crypts apps. Try saying that 3 times, Gag. Amy's Crypts apps.
Yeah.
Amy's Crypts.
It sounds like you're saying Amy's Crisps.
Crisps. Amy's Crisps apps. And it's pretty much like GhostTube, whereby fluctuations in the phone's magnetometer will have words programmed to it. And this time, instead of words programmed to it, it has online stations programmed to it.
Yeah.
To the fluctuations. So that's what you're hearing. A bit like a ghost box, but obviously it's more to do with online. I turned it on. I asked, is there any children here? And almost immediately I got just one. The other thing is, we talked about Joe. Joe was the father of the family, who it was said came home, he was drunk, and he did die. He unfortunately was vomiting, apparently, and drowned on that vomit, choked on it. Now, that's just a story. I don't know the facts behind that. But almost immediately when I was talking about that, Vox came out with, he never got over it. Obviously not, if he's still there.
Well, no. No.
Feeling comfortable despite the doll. I was hearing something moving around, and at this point my back was starting to tingle. My spidey senses.
Ooh.
My spidey senses were tingling as well. I still didn't feel scared, and I still didn't feel threatened. It was just this feeling that something is there.
Mind you, that if I had that doll looking up at me, I'd probably feel like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I was telling them that how I was feeling, because I do like to, when we're live, people always ask, how are you feeling? How's it feeling there? So I do like to keep updating people on how I'm feeling. I would say, look, I'm feeling comfortable. I feel fine. I'm just getting this tingling. And the Vox suddenly came out with, I'm a monk.
It's been feeling really comfortable up here, even with the doll going. Didn't feel... It didn't feel threatening. My back is tingling now. It's almost like Something. Something. Did that just say I'm a monk? I'm a wonk? Did anyone hear that, or is that me? Pareidolying sound.
Now, I wasn't sure whether I heard that clearly. So I kind of paused and I said to the viewers, oh, was that just me or was it pareidolia? But did I just hear it say, I'm a monk? And it does seem to. I don't know what you thought of that.
Yes, I totally agree. It just sounds like that.
Just didn't get the bit at the end. I asked, I said, all right, well, is there a monk in the house? And it came back with investigate, which we now have done. Mm-hmm. That's what I did when I got home. And we have done so, and we did find out about the priory.
Yep.
The followers suggested that we should do, or I should do, the Lord's Prayer, which, in all honesty, Keg, I have not said the Lord's Prayer since I was at school, which was about 50 years ago. I am not shy about my age. I think it's great that we can show that we're still active and getting around, and I feel 21 anyway in the...
Do you? My
body
do
doesn't.
In my head, but in my body's like,
Yeah.
no, you're definitely coming up to 60, love. Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, I'll struggle to say it, and I'm struggling through it, and people are helping me by typing the words to it. And the Vox said, as I was doing it, good work. It's like, well, I'm glad you appreciate it. Now, the whole time, as I said, I was sitting at the top of those stairs with the doll. She never moved. And this is unusual because you would think my movement on the top of those stairs would have caused her to fall. If she was going to overbalance and she was going to topple, you would have thought, I'm sitting next to her, bouncing around on that top stair where she is, grabbing things and moving around. You would have thought...
Yeah, you would have made that floor uneven and she would have gone.
That is when she would have gone. With nothing much else happening, I moved to the bedroom and I was explaining the equipment when GhostTube just came out with, be careful, and then fire. After the fire, it came out with, help me. So I asked, well, what do you need help with? And it came out with flames. So there seemed to be this fire thing. I don't know of any fire there, but if you went back to the battles and the fights and the sacking of villages, which they did used to set fire to the villages, are we still talking to something that was prior to Pontefract really being built up as a town? And later I was asking if somebody was there who was religious, and the EDI triggered again. So this religion thing did keep coming through. Before GhostTube said 2 words, murdered, battle. Back to that Norman thing again.
Yeah.
So, or Norman, it could have even been when the Anglo-Saxons were fighting with the Scandinavians and the Vikings. We could be talking back then. We're only talking they settled into 2 communities and got on. But there would have been a lot of fighting and sacking before then. I decided I would go down into the lounge. As I said, I would go down there to all the people who were watching. And I don't think we've ever investigated the lounge.
No.
The other times we were there, we were always...
Either by the portal or under the stairs.
Yeah.
We've never done the lounge.
We've never done the lounge.
Which is silly, really, because that is where you and Amy saw a figure past that door.
Yeah.
But
the hallway there.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I left the camera running while I packed up the bedroom, intending to do the lounge, and I asked if the doll needs to go back in the bedroom. And I just got... It was almost a frustrated... Just leave on Vox.
It's like, for goodness sake.
I wasn't ready to leave yet. I went down to the lounge and made myself very comfortable, and nothing much was happening down there. So I decided to do an EVP session, which I always like to do. And I did get into, I find it very, very hard to believe that there is a monk, a black monk, in a council house in Pontefract. Playing the EVP session back, you will hear a very clear whisper. Evil.
I must admit, I do find it very hard to believe. There's a monk. I must admit, I do find it very hard to believe. The monk.
Now, you can see it's not me because I do have another camera on me. So I've doubled it up on the screen when I did the edits. And it's just very clear evil. The ghost box, I played that, but nothing much was coming out of it. EDI did trigger. Apart from that, Keg, nothing else. Now, whether it was because by this point the adrenaline had worn off about the doll. I was feeling comfortable. I was feeling very sick by this point and very tired, and I was struggling. You can see in my face in this last session, I was struggling. And I sometimes wonder whether that didn't help not getting anything. Because you know how we're flat? We don't seem to get much. It's usually when you and I are laughing and mucking around and we seem to get more stuff interacting. And I do think at that point, I wasn't going to get anything else. So I set up a abandonment on the stairs looking at that doll, just in case. I left the abandonment and I went to get sleep. That doll never moved. After it went down the stairs, it never moved.
What was interesting, though, when Amy and Jared from Amy's Crypt did it, they had a ball come down the stairs.
They did, yes.
Unfortunately, they didn't get it on camera, but you get the sound of it coming down the stairs. So it's not just us that's had something come down the stairs.
No. So there you go. 30 East Drive.
And the story behind the doll.
Yes. And the story that keeps continuing behind the doll, which I'm sure will continue.
I still now think it was me through the portal.
That's it. We answered it.
It was Cag at the portal.
Stop trying to guess
with a stick.
how we faked it. We've just told you. All right. We have just told you how it was done. Cag came through the portal with the stick from Adelaide.
Yeah.
Making a little squeaky noise.
That's it.
As he came through. And down went the doll.
Yep. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. So you don't need it. We've done it for you.
Debunked.
I'm sure it will keep going around and doing its tracks.
I'm sure.
I'm quite amazed that more people are making of it or making more of it than we are.
I know. We just like, oh, that's really cool.
Oh, it's cool. It was caught on an investigation. The doll went down the stairs. I don't know. We'll include it because it was curious. I am still trying to puzzle out the movement. So, but all that matters, we're always going to get told we put wires on it and everything. All that matters is the people who know us. Because the people who know us, the people who follow us, Cag, people who know our videos and what we do and have been following us for years know we've never, God, we would have some amazing videos if we learned how to do that. Can you imagine? Do you think I would just do it on a doll up at the top of the stairs? My goodness, what we could do if I learned how to.
We would have done so
Oh
much
my
more.
God.
Like if we had the knowledge and the
if we could be bothered.
Yeah, if we
Do
could
they know how lazy we are?
I know, just like we've got all on trying to do what we do. There's no way am I getting there early to set up different things, different to things we can fake things. We haven't got time. We're too old for that. We haven't got time left in our life for that sort of thing.
So there you go. That's the follow-up on that video. That's from our perspective, and it's like... But there you go. I'm glad it's helping other channels, and it's make of it what you will. We're not going to flog it anyway. So, all right, we are going to go now. Don't forget, right? Multimedia, social media, social media. See, how can we even fake thing when we can't even get words?
I know.
It's got to get words right. No mind faking. So, social media, thumbs up, 5-star. Share all over.
Share the love.
What else?
We don't know.
What else? You
And
know,
don't
guys,
forget-
you listen
don't
to all
forget
these
YouTube and
other ones.
Facebook.
See, we can't even do our own introductions and ends. All right, we love you. We do want to say thank you, guys, for all our supporters out there, for all of you lot who are listening to this and us rabbiting on, who are watching our YouTube channel and enjoying it for what it is and joining in with the community we've got there, to our Patreons who have supported us for right through COVID, some of them.
Yeah.
And any future people who want to join us in the community, honestly, we love you. Thank you so much. We would not be doing this if you didn't enjoy it. I think the biggest mystery we have, Cag, is not how did a doll fall down the stairs. Our biggest mystery, why on earth do people watch two middle-aged ladies bumbling around in the dark? It's like, why?
I know.
Why? I will puzzle on that as well. Until next time. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe to this podcast. The extended video version of these episodes are available for members of Spotify and Patreon. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and see the full investigation from these episodes on our YouTube channel. Details are in the About section of this podcast. Thank you from Cag and Ali for listening.